I think it means that America Ferrara is no longer supporting Blake Lively.
Anna, what does it mean to be working with Blake again?
Oh, we're talking about you.
Oh my God.
Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively recently experienced an unexpected exclusion from some of Hollywood's most influential circles. Despite their status as one of the industry's most beloved power couples, they found themselves left out by some of the biggest names in entertainment. This development has raised questions about what led to this shift. Were they overlooked due to industry politics, changing alliances, or something else entirely? Regardless of the reason, their absence from key Hollywood events has certainly not gone unnoticed. While both Reynolds and Lively continue to thrive professionally and maintain strong fan support, this situation highlights the unpredictable nature of Hollywood's social dynamics.
He was slamming Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. He basically said that they effed up.
The original A-listers are distancing themselves, making it evident that they no longer wish to be associated with the couple.
And so the more time we got to spend with Blake Lively, the less we liked her.
Their actions toward Justin Baldwin weren't just questionable, they were completely inexcusable.
She's that dramatic in a release statement. She probably was even more dramatic in just being the friend that supports your friend even when you know you're lying.
It's not just former fans or online critics who have moved on. A-list celebrities, influential figures, and even family members are stepping away one by one, distancing themselves like duct tape losing its grip in extreme heat.
And of course, it's not good for Blake or Ryan.
Ryan's contentious dispute with Justin Baldoni wasn't just a private, creative disagreement. It involved deception, legal threats, manipulation, public defamation, and alleged intimidation tactics. Blake led the charge, with Ryan supporting the narrative like a PR pawn. Now, the industry is beginning to recognize them for who they truly are.
The fact that Blake Lively has been rude and cruel to people throughout her career, it's a fact. They didn't even deny that these things have happened. So
people aren't just stepping away. They're erasing any trace of support for the two, wiping their feeds clean. Deleted posts, unfollows, complete silence. It's like a digital purge. And the most telling part? Blake and Ryan have no control over it. Their PR magic has worn off, and Hollywood isn't interested in a cheaper replacement.
It means a lot when he comes out and says something. He basically said that they effed up, which I can completely agree with.
Let's begin with the one person they were certain would always stand by them, Taylor Swift. They believed their bond was unshakable. Best friends, vacation partners, and even having Taylor reference their kids' names in her songs. But now, she's completely distanced herself. The reason? Blake, known for being strategic, allegedly used Taylor's name without consent to pressure Justin Baldoni during the It Ends With Us controversy.
Taylor Swift, she is getting deposed. It is happening. I have it on very good authority that Taylor Swift is gonna get subpoenaed.
Think about that. Blake leveraged her own best friend as a social weapon. She even referred to Taylor as one of her dragons, which might sound impressive until you realize it implies Taylor would take down anyone on her command. The level of arrogance it takes to assume Taylor Swift would blindly involve herself in petty disputes is astounding.
Taylor Swift, you have to recognize and respect the fact that she is a machine, okay? She is an absolute machine. She will do everything to protect her image.
And get this, Blake invited Taylor to a meeting at her penthouse under the pretense of discussing the film. What Taylor didn't realize was that it was all a setup to corner Justin Baldoni. She was unknowingly pulled into a Hollywood conflict she had no intention of being part of.
Has taken advantage of her, taken advantage of her brand.
A classic Blake move, masking sharp tactics behind a polished Instagram aesthetic. But after all that, Taylor Swift left Blake off her Super Bowl guest list. And if you know Taylor, you know that's her way of making a statement. It's the modern equivalent of cutting ties without having to say a word.
But I think that Taylor Swift is publicly backing away from this friendship because she's intelligent.
And the silence since then? It's classic Swift. She doesn't engage in messy public statements. Instead, she quietly cuts ties, reworks the lyrics in a future album, and lets the world piece it together. As for Blake, she's out.
And I want to be clear, that has the potential to humiliate Taylor.
But that was just the beginning. Next in line to distance herself from the golden couple was none other than Colleen Hoover. Now, keep in mind, this is the same Colleen Hoover who originally praised Blake, calling her the second coming of cinema. She referred to Blake's casting in It Ends With Us as a dream and expressed to fans how excited she was, fully supporting her.
Colleen deactivated her Instagram on January 21st.
Fast forward to the present, and what do we see? Hoover deleted 32 posts, unfollowed Blake, and completely wiped her Instagram clean, quickly distancing herself from the drama. Why? Because once Justin Baldoni started revealing receipts, real evidence showing how Blake had been attempting to control and sabotage the situation, Colleen had no choice.
Here we have seen the evidence, and we haven't seen any evidence from Blake Lively that supports her claims. And I'm sure she's going to cut that out from the actual article. I think it's coming out later this week, at some point next week.
And don't assume this was just about wanting to distance herself. No, there are credible rumors, not just wild speculation, that Colleen is considering a lawsuit against Blake and Ryan.
Lively manipulated her audiences and lied to her audiences.
Apparently, Blake promised Colleen the moon, more book-to-movie adaptations, more power, and more creative control. Now, Hoover is realizing it was all just a facade. Blake essentially dangled the opportunity in front of her, only to watch it burn when things didn't go her way.
He told us that Justin Baldoni claims she tried to take over his movie because she has a history of saying, okay, I'll be the star, but what I secretly want to do is direct it and edit it and produce it.
The digital cleanup wasn't discreet either. We're talking 32 posts deleted, with all mentions of Blake removed, basically a total social wipeout. In PR terms, that's a clear statement. I want nothing to do with this person ever again. Meanwhile, Blake continues acting like nothing's wrong, still posting as if she's baking cupcakes in her multi-million-dollar kitchen, while her career is melting away faster than butter on a hot stove.
The tables turned very quickly against Colleen. People expected her to then now give a more informed answer, a more informed response as to how she could have gone along with what is appearing to be such obvious forms of bullying.
But here's the catch. This isn't just bad press. It's industry exile. The kind where no one wants to work with you, and when your name comes up in meetings, people start checking their phones. When even Colleen Hoover is distancing herself from you, when Taylor Swift removes you from her social calendar, and when your closest allies are considering legal action, you've officially become the villain in your own story.
Just in while we're live, Taylor Swift is having bad blood with Blake Lively. I am not your dragon, I knew it!
And let's not even talk about Ryan Reynolds. This guy has built a brand on being the funny guy, the relatable husband, the Deadpool who delivers dad jokes. But here's the thing. The mask is...
There's going to be a lot stronger defamation claims against Ryan Reynolds.
While Blake's been rewriting scripts and bulldozing directors, Ryan has been playing the silent accomplice. Don't be misled by his charm. He's knee-deep in this situation too, and people are beginning to...
Not supporting Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, which, I mean, he is a big celebrity and has a huge following.
Let's begin with America Ferrera. Back in December, she shared a heartfelt tribute supporting Blake Lively. Classic Instagram love, all sunshine and girl power. Now that post is gone, disappeared from her grid as if Blake never existed. You can still find it by searching through tags and links, but America made sure it no longer appears on her public profile.
See how she hasn't removed the post itself from Instagram, but she removed it from her grid.
So, in other words, it's clear. America Ferrera doesn't want this energy on her feed or in her life. When someone like her, an Oscar-nominated, media-savvy, and respected figure, is cleaning up her profile, it's not a technical issue. It's a clear message, and it's a strong one.
What does this mean? Well, I think it means that America Ferrera is no longer supporting Blake Lively. Why else would she remove it from her grid?
Amber Tamblyn, another Sisterhood alum, still has her post up. But here's the twist. She removed it from her main feed. It's now hidden, visible only if you search for it directly. This is the digital equivalent of quietly distancing yourself. In public, without making a scene. The Gen Z way of crossing the street when they see you coming.
For now, Amber Tamblyn still has the post on her Instagram, as you can see. But who knows? The thing is, Amber also has a connection to the New York Times. She's been writing for the New York Times. So I think for her to remove it, it will be a bigger statement also against the New York Times.
These two were once loyal, part of Blake's inner circle for almost 2 decades. They weren't just co-stars, they were meant to be family. But now, there's radio silence, comments disabled, posts deleted. It's as if they went to the sisterhood. Reunion saw what Blake was up to and decided to step away.
I don't know. This doesn't look like a woman under stress. This doesn't look like a woman who can barely get out of bed, as we've seen in reports. This looks like a woman who cannot wait to be back in the spotlight.
And that's exactly what happens when you keep showing that you're a toxic liability. When even your feminist allies, women who fought for equality, diversity, and inclusion, step away, it's no longer just personal, it's political. You've become everything they stand against. And Blake? She's turning it into a masterclass in how to lose friends and alienate powerful women.
Where this support for people in power is coming from, the protection of rich and famous people with so much power, why are the liberal traditional media supporting that so much? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Let's discuss Bart Johnson. Yes, Coach Bolton himself. He's not just some random person from Blake's extended circle. He's her actual brother-in-law, married to her sister Robin Lively. If you can't even hold on to family, you really have to wonder what you're doing wrong.
On record, long before the public conflict, the cast unfollowed him for a reason. But he's not mentioning anyone specific. He's not mentioning anyone specific! Bart, yes, she did!
At first, Bart came out swinging, defending Blake with an almost blind loyalty, typical of someone deeply deluded. He posted cryptic messages about performative man buns, which we all knew were aimed at Justin Baldoni. It was as if he couldn't comprehend someone having a man bun and morals. Bart thought his Instagram posts filled with warrior monk quotes were making a statement, but then reality hit. Legal papers started to surface, evidence began emerging, and suddenly, his tweets vanished. Bart shifted his narrative from accusing Baldoni of being fake to claiming his words weren't aimed at anyone specific. Really, Bart? So it was just a coincidence that your vague captions happened to align perfectly with Justin's hairstyle?
Amidst the Justin Baldoni drama. Now, a few of these texts are getting deleted and moved. It's all fluid on there, but he's responding to somebody. He received a response asking if he deleted his past tweets, allegedly about Baldoni, because Lively and Ryan were being exposed as liars in a legal back and forth. My past comment wasn't for any individual, never said a name, Johnson said.
What's particularly funny is that even Bart realized he was played. He openly admitted that he had been misled by Blake and Ryan, the masters of PR manipulation. Now he's quietly retreating into the background, hoping no one remembers he was once part of Team Lively. But we noticed, Bart. We definitely noticed. And when even your own family abandons your sinking ship, it's not just a red flag. It's a full stadium wave of red flags in slow motion.
Who's married to Blake's half-sister Robin. It was directed at a certain type of person that I find performative and disingenuous when they post clips of themselves being amazing.
But it doesn't stop with family. Oh no, even the sisterhood fell apart. Remember the strong, supportive bond from the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants? That heartwarming film about female solidarity and lasting friendship? Well, that sisterhood has officially been revoked.
Say his name. I think you forgot to mention the person you were supposed to be apologizing to. His name is Justin Baldoni. Otherwise, your blanket apology.
Now, let's move on to the most ironic twist in this saga, Scarlett Johansson. Oh yes, because when Scarlett enters the picture, you know things are about to get interesting. Let's rewind. Ryan Reynolds and Scarlett were married from 2008 to 2010. It was a private split. Nothing too dramatic at the time. But now, years later, the plot has thickened more than Deadpool's mask. Guess who Scarlett just signed on to work with? That's right. Ryan's ex-wife is now teaming up with the very person Ryan and Blake have been trying to undermine for months. Scarlett is directing a new film called Elena of Avalor. And guess who's funding it? Wayfair Studios, fully backed by Justin Baldoni's studio. It's completely financed and endorsed by Team Justin.
She looked really bad then too, but still, she clearly can apologize.
Yeah, she's capable of it.
But she would not apologize, and I find that despicable.
Yeah.
Now, here's where things get even messier. Blake and Ryan's romance might have overlapped with Ryan's marriage to Scarlett Johansson. Filming for Green Lantern began in March 2010 while Ryan was still married. Rumors suggest that their flirty chemistry on set spilled into hotel rooms shortly after the divorce. Was that a coincidence? Highly unlikely. Insiders believe Scarlett knew but stayed quiet, biding her time for the right moment.
It's gonna have to be a full-blown, I am sorry, I lied, I am a terrible person, tail in between the legs, and that's what we deserve. Everything, and it really was quite horrific because you just go, what kind of a monster even goes through with this CRD filing?
Now, Scarlett is making her stance clear by teaming up with Justin Baldoni. Yes, the very same person Blake and Ryan tried to undermine. Instead of subtweeting or sharing passive-aggressive quotes, Scarlett has signed on to direct his project, which is funded by his studio. That's not subtle. That's a major statement in Hollywood. This wasn't a random collaboration.
And so the more time we got to spend with Blake Lively, the less we liked her.
Penn Badgley, the mysterious loner from Gossip Girl turned dramatic genius, was also Blake's real-life ex-boyfriend. Once, Penn and Blake were Hollywood's indie couple, full of moody charm. After their breakup, they kept things low-key. No drama, no scandals, and no post-breakup jabs. In fact, Penn even invited her onto his podcast, Pod Crushed, which in hindsight seems like a kind gesture from someone still trying to convince himself she hadn't fallen victim to the manipulative world of PR.
I want all the roles for me and only me. I want full control because I am a controlling bully.
However, Penn has now unfollowed Blake and fully backed Justin Baldoni. He hit that unfollow button like it owed him money, and to top it off, he now follows Baldoni. In today's world, unfollowed Blake and fully backed Justin Baldoni. He hit that unfollow button like it owed him money, and to top it off, he now follows Baldoni. In today's world, unfollowed Blake and fully backed Justin Baldoni.
He told us that Justin Baldoni claims she tried to take over his movie because she has a history of saying, okay, I'll be the star, but what I secretly want to do is direct it and edit it and produce it.
And it goes beyond just past relationship drama. Penn and Justin share a connection through the Baha'i faith, a spiritual belief system centered on unity, truth, and values, qualities Blake Lively clearly struggles to understand, much less live by. These two men embody principles like emotional intelligence, integrity, and decency, things Blake often dismisses while causing disruptions on film sets.
And that what in fact happened was Justin didn't harass Blake. Blake was interested in wresting control of this movie away from Justin, who was the director and the producer. She was just an actress in it. And used threats and coercion and bullying to do it.
Penn, who had every reason to remain neutral, chose to take a side, and not Blake's, speaks volumes. He's not someone who seeks out Hollywood drama or attention. If anything, Penn prefers his own philosophical space. So for him, to publicly distance himself from Blake and align with Baldoni means he saw something troubling. And honestly, it likely wasn't hard to spot. Then there's Anna Kendrick. If Penn's exit was a subtle unfollow, Anna's rejection of Blake could easily come with a boxing glove and a mic drop.
How quickly do you...
Don't touch me.
They worked together on A Simple Favor, a film centered around secrets, lies, and betrayal. So essentially, it's a documentary if you ask anyone who was on set.
Anna, what does it mean to be working with Blake again?
Oh my God.
Behind the scenes, things were chaotic. Anna reportedly couldn't stand Blake. There was a level of dysfunction on set, almost like they were enemies. The situation was so tense that the studio had to intervene, instructing them to pretend to be friends during press events. They were essentially assigned media handlers to prevent any clashes on camera.
Kendra can't fake it. She's just like, listen, I know y'all want me to, but I can't with this one.
Anna Kendrick is known for being laid back, funny, and drama-free. So if she says things were bad, it must have been intense. She's not the type to fake animosity. That level of negativity doesn't stay hidden. It emerges when someone like Blake Lively enters a room with an inflated sense of self-importance and expects everyone to follow suit.
He got headlines everywhere for saying that. Yeah, so now we know Joe Rogan is not supporting Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, which, I mean, he is a big celebrity.
The contrast in personalities was obvious. Anna is witty and self-deprecating, while Blake comes across as calculated and always ready for the camera. Anna shows up in jeans and sarcasm, while Blake arrives in a ball gown with a PR script. Clearly. Even for the sake of press tours, this difference couldn't be ignored. If you're too much for Anna Kendrick to tolerate, you've likely lost all credibility.
But boy, I mean, it's just like, it's kind of embarrassing, right?
But here's where things truly hit rock bottom. Don Saladino, the man who knew Blake and Ryan's bodies better than they knew their own. He was their personal trainer for years. the one who transformed Ryan into Deadpool shape and got Blake red carpet ready. Essentially, he was the health guru behind their carefully crafted Hollywood image.
Something just didn't. I went through Justin Baldoni's Instagram and he just seemed like a puppet.
Now, Don has completely disappeared. He removed his pinned photo with Ryan Reynolds, deleted all fitness content featuring Blake, and unfollowed both of them as if they never existed. When a trainer, someone whose career depends on neutrality and discretion, starts erasing you, that's not a coincidence. It's a warning sign. Trainers thrive on trust, loyalty, and confidentiality. So when they walk away, something significant must have happened. And here's the kicker. Blake once referred Justin Baldoni to Don when they were still pretending to be friends. So Don knew both sides and had no reason to pick a side.
And I knew a bit about her. I knew how she grew up. I knew that she kind of was one of these people. What tends to be the case is that when you grow up with everything, you create things out of nothing because you're looking for struggle in your life and you're used to getting whatever it is that you want.
By the time even your trainer has walked away, you're not just losing friends. You're losing the very people who helped build your public image. Don was a key part of the Lively Reynolds facade, and now he's quietly dismantling it, one deleted post at a time. So where does that leave us? Let's break down this chaotic fallout. Taylor Swift has removed you from her timeline, Bart Johnson has given up, and the sisterhood has revoked its support. Scarlett Johansson is now collaborating with the person you tried to destroy, Penn. Badgley has distanced himself, Anna Kendrick couldn't tolerate you, and Don Saladino has wiped your existence from his brand. What began as a minor tantrum from Blake on the It Ends With Us set has escalated into a full Hollywood exodus. All Blake and Ryan had to do to bring down their empire was be themselves. No one's buying the perfect couple act anymore, the winks, the I married my best friend routine, the snarky tweets. People see through the manipulation, the games, and they're done.
It was monstrous what she did, and she's got to pay for it.
Live birth porn.
Every move Blake and Ryan made, the power plays, the smear campaigns, the silence, the victim complex, backfired. Their carefully constructed PR image as the perfect couple has been shattered. And you know what emerges from the ruins? Not them. Not this time. Because Hollywood isn't canceling them. It's exposing them. This isn't just about drama, it's about the facts. When everyone in your life, from co-stars to family to trainers, starts stepping away, one thing is clear. Hollywood has made its decision, and it's not Blake and Ryan. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next chapter in this unfolding story.